Where'd you come from? No, not the fruit, that's the Get Dagger!
How'd it go? Oh my God.
The film opens with a montage of a happy family through the years. Young Bee is seen having fun with her parents, up until the mother begins to suffer from cancer. While she keeps on a happy face for Bee and continues to play with her, the mother eventually passes away. Bee, now 12, moves in with her grandmother Margaret since her father is going in for heart surgery. He continues to act goofy and create fake friends to keep Bee's spirits up, but she doesn't let on that she is not amused. While visiting her father, Bee befriends a boy named Benjamin, who constantly gets himself injured and is seen playing with knight and dragon toys. At night, Bee goes out to buy a charger for her mother's old camcorder but sees an unusual-looking creature. When Bee calls out to her, assuming it's another child, the creature reacts with surprise that Bee can see her. She runs into the building, and Bee follows her upstairs. She hears the creature's voice behind another door, talking to a man named Cal, who lives on the floor above Margaret. Although Bee tries to talk to the creature, Cal insists there is nobody there, and at that moment an old lady comes out from the other side. Scared, she runs back to her grandma's apartment. The next night, Bee sees Cal walking with the creature before they go into another apartment. Bee watches as Cal climbs into the bedroom of a little girl, as he is trying to reach Blue, a dim-witted but friendly giant, furry, purple imaginary friend, or better known as Ifs. Blue was hoping for the little girl to be her new imaginary friend, but she cannot see him. When Cal tries to get Blue out, he ends up letting out a huge sneeze that wakes the little girl up, so Cal hides under her bed. He sneaks out of the room and finds Bee looking at him. As she starts to turn away in a panic, she is met by the female creature, an inkblot-style bug like if named Blossom. When Blossom tries to introduce herself, Bee faints. Bee wakes up in Cal's apartment with Blue and Blossom. Blossom explains to Bee that they are imaginary friends and that they are in the process of coming up with a matchmaking agency to help the other Ifs find new kids, or else they will disappear due to being forgotten. While Bee is a little freaked out, she agrees to help them out. The following day, Bee goes to visit her father in the hospital, only for Blue to be walking around the place. Bee tries to get him out of there, as she knows people will look at her funny if they see her talking to someone that isn't visible to anyone else. Later, Bee joins Cal at a hidden spot in Coney Island, where the Ifs live in a retirement home, of sorts. After entering through a secret passage, Bee encounters a number of Ifs. She walks in on a support group for Ifs getting over their kids growing up, led by a sunflower If called Flower. There is also a superhero pup, guardian dog, a blubbering blob called Slime, an anxious bubble, a smarmy cup of water named Ice, a dry-witted robot, a magician mouse, and a trenchcoat detective If called Cosmo. Cal bumps into art teacher, who recognizes Bee and tells Cal to find Lewis, a wise and elderly teddy bear If that also remembers Bee by her full name, Elizabeth. Cal ends up falling between realms inside the retirement home, like in one of art teacher's paintings before he and Bee end up in a Tina Turner musical performance with the other Ifs. While Bee is confused by the world around her, Lewis sits down with her and tells her to close her eyes, and all the memories will come flooding back to her. Bee does so and sees Coney Island full of both humans and Ifs going all around the place. This encourages Bee to begin helping the Ifs. Bee wants to start by finding an If for Benjamin. They do a round of interviews with Lewis, meeting other Ifs like Uni the Cheerful Unicorn, an astronaut called Spaceman, George Clooney, a farting gummy bear, Amy Schumer, a cat in a onesie called Octokitty, a ghost, Ally the alligator, and a melting marshmallow man. Ultimately, none of them, including Blue, are able to appear visible to Benjamin. At home, Bee looks through Margaret's old belongings and finds out she used to be a dancer. To her surprise, she finds Blossom in one of the pictures, meaning she used to be Margaret's If. When Bee tries to get Blossom to try and reach out to Margaret, Blossom seems worried. Bee then puts on one of Margaret's old records and wakes her up at night. Margaret ends up dancing once again, and this causes Blossom to not only dance alongside her, but she glows and grows butterfly wings since Margaret now remembers her. The next day, Cosmo, the disappearing ghost, provides help by bringing Bee and Cal a file on Jeremy, Blue's former child, now grown into an anxious adult. The trio follows Jeremy to his job. Blue makes a feeble attempt to get Jeremy to remember him, but he just lets out another powerful sneeze, causing Jeremy to tumble over and spill his coffee on himself. Blue gets really sad since he blew the only opportunity he had with his old friend. At that point, his urge for snacks gets heavier, and that gives Bee an idea. When Jeremy is about to go to a meeting, The trio enters the building. The receptionist asks B what she was doing, and she says her purpose was to deliver a package. Jeremy, already looking like a nervous mess, sees B open the box and start chewing on the snack to get his attention. However, he chooses to concentrate on the presentation of his meeting. Blue puts his hand on Jeremy's shoulder, causing Blue to glow like Blossom did. Jeremy now appears to remember Blue, and he goes into his meeting less afraid. Blue gives B a big hug and thanks her for finally reuniting him with his old friend. Back at Coney Island, everyone cheers for B, celebrating the reunion of Blue and Jeremy. When B gets home, she finds Margaret looking worried. Margaret informs her that her father had a health issue at the hospital. B rushes there, where all the other invisible friends, IFs, gather to support her. Her father is unconscious after an apparent complication from surgery. Tearfully, B tells him a story about herself, how she shut out the world after her mother's death, but she still needs him. B's dad wakes up and tells her it was a good story. B goes outside to let Margaret know her dad is awake, but when she looks around, all the IFs have disappeared. Back at home, B goes to thank Cal for his help, but no one opens the door. The landlady steps outside, revealing that nobody lives there, and the room is much smaller than when B first saw it. B looks at one of her old drawings, along with a clown like if she named Calvin. It turns out Cal was B's if the entire time. B closes her eyes, letting her memories come back, and all the IFs return before her eyes. She thanks them all for helping her out. B's dad leaves the hospital and picks her up so she can move back in with him. As Margaret watches them leave, she expresses hope for the two of them. She then turns to Blossom and speaks to her. Blossom gasps with delight. Next, Cal takes up the job of reuniting the IFs with their old friends, starting from the receptionist to the hospital nurse, including Benjamin, who's always having fun with his dragon toy. And, before I forget, B's dad's IF happens to be Keith, the invincible IF who occasionally takes a tumble. Thanks for watching. This is my first video. Show your support by liking and subscribing.